Happy day, students. So after a long gap, we are starting the recording of this one, electric potential energy, where we stopped last time around. So what do we basically mean by electric potential energy? Okay, so to make it understand, what we are going to do is we are going back to the work for energy chapter and we are going to revise certain things. Okay, in that one we studied about potential energy, what potential energy basically is. So if we started, we studied as potential energy basically is related to conservative force. Okay, and how we used to define it? We used to say that negative of work done by electrostatic force or conservative force. Negative of work done by conservative force is equal to change in potential energy. Is equal to change in potential energy. Change in potential energy. Okay, this was we studied in work for energy along with work energy theorem. Okay, this was when conservation of energy we used to have, right? Let's see how we used to write it. Change in potential energy is negative of work done by electrostatic or conservative force. By conservative force. Or this negative you put over here. Okay, so this is actually what? Minus potential energy final minus potential energy initial equal to FDX or FDR, whatever. Okay. So what this became now eventually, if minus we are going to multiply inside, it is potential energy initial minus potential energy final equal to work done by conservative force, which is FDR. Okay. Now let's put it into what we studied again in work energy. Okay. So I'm going back to the simplest of potential energy form. What is that? That is gravitation energy. Okay. So let's see. If suppose there is a ground over here or reference, this is a ground, and from the ground, suppose this is a mass M, block of mass M, and you are going to lift it to height h. Okay, we lift it to height h, and this block is here now. Right, now where is conservative force or gravitation force acting? Gravitation force is acting downwards. How much is gravitation force? Mg. It's acting downwards. Okay. So what is potential energy now? Again, negative of change in potential energy equal to work done by conservative force. And this negative of change in potential energy, little while ago we found it. It is potential energy initial minus potential energy final. Okay. Now what is initial position in this one? It is ground. Okay. Now at ground, what is the potential energy? Now remember always, whenever we talk about potential energy, we decide reference. Okay, so if I say this is a reference, ground is a reference, it means its potential energy I am assuming to be 0. What is its potential energy? 0. So potential energy initial you are writing as 0. Then we are going to see when we are talking about gravitation energy, we are going to see that what is the height of the block from the reference. Or what is the position of the mass from the reference? It can be down also, it can be up also. If it is up, then we are going to take that potential energy as positive, and if it is below that, we are going to take that potential energy as negative. So in this case, you can see that it is above to height h. So we are going to write this as, this minus is as it is over here, here is minus mgh. Okay, this is minus mgh. That is work done by conservative force. Or for that matter, if suppose I take it in the reverse way, that I want to find the potential energy, then we can do it like this. Now this is potential energy 0, this is 0, and suppose I want to find what is its potential energy at the top, here. That's equal to work done by conservative force. And work done by any force is basically what? Force into displacement. So first thing now in this case is this mg constant from here to here? Answer is yes, it's not changing. So work done by gravitation force will be what? Mg acting downwards. Okay, displacement is upwards by h. Okay, angle between the force direction and the displacement direction 180. So work done will be negative. What will be work done? Work done will be negative. So what we will be writing? mg force, displacement h, and cos 180. Why cos 180? Because work done we know is a dot product of force and displacement. Okay, work done is dot product of force and displacement. That's why Fs cos theta. Theta is angle between force and displacement. So here also mgh, mg downwards, h upwards, and the angle between them 180. So what we are getting? Minus mgh. And here is what? Minus potential energy final. So this gets cancelled. So potential energy is equal to mgh. Do you understand that? Is it clear? Always remember, unless you are defining the potential energy at zero-sum position, you cannot find the potential energy of other position. Okay, so first of all, reference is required. Okay, as we have considered here that the ground is a reference, so here potential energy is zero. So it means potential energy at any point is actually in respect to the other point where you have considered the reference. Always remember that. Okay. Then what we can do, if suppose I will try to explain you further about potential energy, suppose that this is ground. Okay. And I should say this is first floor. And this is second floor. Okay. Now, in the first place, I took this as a reference. And suppose that this is 10 meter. And this is also 10 meter. Okay. And I kept one object over here. That object is L. Okay. So what is its potential energy with respect to ground? Potential energy of this mass with respect to ground is how much? So we will say potential energy with respect to ground I am taking, or we say potential energy of the second floor minus potential energy of ground is equal to mg into 20. Correct or not? Its height from here is 20 meters. So mg into 20, as we saw in the previous case, that formula for potential energy final is mgh, right? Good. Now, what is the potential energy of the first floor with respect to ground? So potential energy of first floor minus potential energy of ground, we'll say mg into 10 mgh. Correct or not? But if suppose now I am going to take first floor as a reference. Now this is my new reference. Okay. Now with respect to this reference now, if I say potential energy of second floor minus potential energy of first floor. That's only the reference meaning. Now here this you have taken as 0, remember. This we have taken as 0 because this is the reference now. Okay. So what we are going to get? We'll say mg. Now from this reference new, what is its height? 10 meters. So it's 10. Same way, potential energy of ground with respect to first floor is what? We'll say that potential energy of ground minus potential energy of first floor. Okay, now first floor is the reference and ground is below it. So potential energy will be talking at negative. Okay, it will come mg into minus 10. Okay, this is how we calculate potential energy. But now if I want, what is the potential energy of second floor? What is the potential energy of second floor with respect to ground? Is it still same or different? Still same. Even if the reference is first floor, if I am going to find potential energy of ground or potential energy of second floor minus potential energy of ground, you see that same value will come. What is that? mg into 20. So see, I am writing it. Potential energy of second floor with respect to first floor, mg into 10. Minus potential energy of ground. What is potential energy of ground with respect to potential energy on first floor? mg into minus 10. Now check what's coming. mg into 20. Now check, is it same? So always remember the most important point of potential energy is difference in potential energies of two positions will never depend on reference. Okay, potential energy of one point depends on reference, correct? Potential energy of second point also depends on reference, but potential energy difference between point 1 and point 2 doesn't depend on the reference. Where you are taking the reference, it is independent of that. Very, very important point. You will check it. Okay, what is it? If suppose we have taken ground as a reference. Okay, potential energy of the first floor is mg into 10. Potential energy of the second floor mg into 20. Okay, difference between these two is 10 mg, right? Now if I am taking this as the reference, then what is its potential energy? Mg into 10. That means difference between these two, has it changed? No. So difference in potential energy always remains same. Difference in potential energy does not depend on the reference point. Okay, this was the basic of potential energy. Now, as I told you, potential energy is always associated with conservative force. Now, what is conservative force? Very simple definition we had in work for energy. What was that? Work done by conservative force does not depend on past. It only depends on initial and final position, or I should say it is dependent on displacement only. It only depends on the displacement. Okay, but that is not enough to find out what basically are conservative forces. Okay, so conservative forces normally that we have experienced till now is gravitation force, spring force, and now we are going to talk about electrostatic force. So these are the conservative forces, correct? So then, other than that, if suppose that it's coming in numerical form, how to identify conservative forces? So see then, three types of conservative forces we have. Three types of conservative forces we have. What are these? One, when the force has constant magnitude. Force of constant magnitude. Now its example is gravitation force. Okay, mostly all along the earth, on the ground, first floor, second floor, we will take gravitation force as constant force. So, force of constant magnitude. Whenever force of constant magnitude is there, we will consider it as conservative force, right? Second one, and before that you write the example also. This is gravitation force. Okay, second, when the force is changing according to the position. Force is a function of position. Okay, something like if suppose I write F is equal to Fxi cap plus Fyj cap plus Fzk cap. Okay, something like this is given. Then we will say that force is conservative force. This example is what? Spring force. How? Because spring force we write as what? Minus kx. So F is a function of position, x. So that's why this comes to this form. Okay. Do you understand? This is the second form over here. Or you can also include electrostatic force into that one, because electrostatic force also depends on position. F is inversely proportional to x squared. So x is variable there. When x is variable, F is going to change. Okay. But it's a function of x. Third type is perfectly differentiable form. Perfectly differentiable. Okay, this is what we have to discuss a little bit. But first two you already know, like gravitation force or spring force, how to find work done. Still, I'll discuss first spring force also. But gravitation force I am not discussing because it's a constant force. So force into displacement we can directly do to calculate the work done. Okay, let's talk about spring force. Now spring force, we already have written that F is equal to minus kx. So if we are going to talk about work done in this case, work done we can calculate directly or we have to integrate. We have to integrate. Why? Because force is variable. Okay, so we will be writing it as F dx. Okay, we write it like this only because we are talking about the magnitude at the moment. Okay, so I'm writing f in dx considering that dx is in same direction as that of f, or it's in opposite direction. Are you able to understand? If there is an angle, I have to do the dot product. Here I am considering angle is 0 or 180. Okay, so if it is 180, then I am writing it as minus kx and dx. Okay, so suppose that initial position is 0, you are stretching the spring. Initially it's in natural length, so 0, and here comes x. So what is going to come? K is spring constant, so it will come out, and here integration will become x square by 2. Here also 0 to x, we are getting minus k x square by 2. And this is basically work done by spring force. And negative of work done by spring force will be potential energy in the spring, which we call as spring energy. Correct or not? So this is what we do. Same way we can have in electrostatics also. If suppose in electrostatics I have to find work done, then what we will do? That also we will check. Okay. So work done is still f dx, and I am not considering the angle because I am considering theta is 0 or angle is 0. So let's write force. Let's say repulsive force is there between two charges, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 by x square into dx. This is constant, so take it outside. q1 q2 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Now what we have, 1 by x square into dx. Okay. Alright, let's say initial position is x1 and final position is x2. So what we are getting, integration of 1 by x square is what? Minus 1 by x. Lower limit x1, upper limit x2. Take this negative outside, minus q1 q2 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Then put the higher limit first, that is 1 by x2. Then put the lower limit by x1. Okay, so this is work done by electrostatic force, right? So we can calculate work done by conservative force if this form, second form is given. Okay, now we need to understand what is this third form. What is this perfectly differentiable form? Okay, so see what is the meaning of that. Now suppose a force is given to us, and force is given to us is this form. I am giving you example, okay? Force is given to you as yi plus xj Newton. Force is given as yi cap plus xj cap Newton. Okay, and we have to find work done. Work done is what? Here also you can see that force is variable with positions. Okay, but why this is different than the previous one we did? Very simple. In that one, along x-axis when you are moving, okay, variable was x only, but here you see that y is also included, or y is also there. Here when you are moving along y-axis, what is the variable given? X. So that's why this form is different than the form we calculated right now, or form we did right now. Okay, so that's why we are taking it to be, or we are just trying to find out what is perfect differentiable actually. Okay, so see now. F is yi plus xj, and we are going to do work done. So work done will be again what? F into dr. Now what is dr over here? Normally if position vector we write in vectors, we write it like this. If their coordinates are x and y, we write like that. Okay, so if we have to write dr, then dr we will be writing in which way? Dr will be written as dxi cap plus dy. Right? So same thing I am going to put over here. So f, let's write f first. It's yi cap plus xj cap dot dxi cap plus dyj cap. Okay, and integration sign is as it is over here. Then what further? So w equal to, multiply this is y dx plus x dy. Okay, two functions are coming. The dot product, so I will be multiplied with I cap and j cap with j cap. So y dx plus x dy. Right. Forget about the limits at the moment. Okay, now this is y variable and you are integrating it along x. So along x-axis I am considering y is constant. So I am not going to integrate y. So y will be outside. So only inside will be what? Dx. Same thing will happen here also. Along y, x will be constant. So x here and here is dy. If I integrate this, general integration, this is coming yx and this is coming xy. Okay, if this kind of a thing is coming, that the two functions that we were having, both are giving the same value after integration, then I am going to call them as perfect differentiable. Perfect differentiable. Okay. So now, if they are perfect differentiable, I am going to call them as conservative forces. Okay. What we are going to call them as conservative forces. Now, how to solve it afterwards, I am going to tell you. But this is how we'll identify they are conservative or not conservative. Is this clear? Fine. So see now how to solve this further now. Okay. We are going to do it now. So yx plus xy has come. Now what I am going to do is, I am going to take this as one function. Assume that xy is one function. Function phi is xy. Okay, and this one I am going to differentiate now, considering x is one variable and y is other variable. Okay, so differentiating with respect to x or y, whichever you want. So x I have chosen, so I am going to do d phi by dx. Okay, so it is going to come x dy by dx plus y, differentiation of x is 1. Right? Further, d phi equal to, I am taking dx as side, it comes out to be x dy plus y dx. Check what we got. X dy plus y dx equal to d phi. Now check on the left side now, right here. Okay, we found already they are perfect differentiable. Now work done is equal to what? Y dx plus x dy. But here I can see that its value is d phi. What is phi xy? That means d of xy can be written as integration of x dy plus integration of y dx. Yes or no? Yes. So in place of this entirely, I can put this. So that means here I am going to write d of xy. Right. Now, what was the integration of dx? Dx integration we used to write as x. Dy's integration we used to write y. So d of xy's integration? xy. Now whatever the limits are there, we will put in that one. Okay, suppose this is x1 to x2, y1 to y2. That means you are moving them from x1, y1 to x2, y2. So what is the answer final? x2 minus x1 into y2 minus 5. Okay? Did you understand? This is perfect differentiable form. Further I will tell you in the next class. Okay? Bye for now.